Hello, everybody. I'm Ernest, and so I got kind of inspired to talk to the phone here, and I have time this Sunday afternoon. I'm not riding a motorcycle. I'm not doing other things. So I said, well, I just made pretty serious video on depression, anxiety, and divorce, and all that ugly stuff. And now I said, well, let me think of something else to do. So I think I'm gonna do like some storytelling that actually happened to me, and people that know me kind of find it kind of interesting, and said, so maybe I'll do something like that. So this one is is about, oddly enough, Bigfoot. So when I was in the army, I was living in Colorado Springs, and we used to go up into the mountains. What I mean, me and my army buddies, and it was a Friday night or something like that, and we decided to go camping on a Friday night instead of going to the bar and stuff like that. So we all got in our vehicles there at the barracks, and we stopped at a gas station, and we picked up some supplies. Since we're in the army, we had sleeping bags and everything in a rucksack above our lockers, just in case you get deployed or something like that. So we grabbed our stuff and we went up there in the mountains, and it's uh it's just outside of Colorado Springs. There's this road called Gold Camp Road, right? And we drove up Gold Camp Road, and we went up a couple, I don't know, a few miles or so. It wasn't very far, and there was like a pull off area on the dirt road on this mountain road, and we walk up the mountain, and there's this ledge, and from there you could see the whole lights of Colorado Springs uh, down below you. We were on the mountain next to Cheyenne Mountain, where NORAD's is at. We were right next to it. Just and so first thing to do is to build a fire, right? So we fret I we forgot our matches or something like that in the vehicle in the truck, and we sent one person down to go get it, and the rest of us, there was probably about four of us or five of us, went to pick up wood. Because all around us was trees, pine trees and stuff like that, and so we went to do that. And I don't know if it was a full moon, but there was light, and you could see snow on the ground. It wasn't fully snowed, but you could see the snow, and I could see everybody picking up the branches that have fallen, so we could start a fire. So, and we're all picking stuff up, and then it's pretty quiet, um, and then we hear this blood curdling scream like I've never heard before. Um, I, it shocked us. Like, it was one of those kind of sounds that just took you to that automatic alert type scenario, and we dropped the wood with everybody, ran back to the ledge where we had our equipment. And as we're getting there, or at the same time, I don't remember, uh, that person that went down to the truck was scurrying up the mountains on hands and feet and just crying and blubbering, just a mess. He was just a mess, and it just scared us so much how he was reacting to whatever had happened to him. And um, so he started to tell the story, and the story was that he's walking down. He he come down off the ledge, walk down side the mountain, off the ledge, down to the road, and you had to walk down just a little ways to get to the little area where the trucks were parked on the side of the road. And he's walking down, I think in the middle of the road, and he said he could see there was something on the other side of the truck that, and it was big, and it was bigger than the truck, or taller than the truck. And and this wasn't a regular truck. This was a old Dodge Ram, uh lifted. I think it had like 35-inch tires on it, and maybe had a 6-inch lift. It was my friend's uh, truck. And this thing was supposedly taller uh than the truck. So he kind of froze, and that this thing walked out in front of the truck and out to the middle of the road and just stopped, and that they were facing each other. And he said he couldn't make out exactly what it was because the moonlight was, like, I guess, behind him, or he couldn't make out too much facial features, but that it didn't have a neck, and that its shoulders were super wide, and that it was covered to what looked like hair, and it was big, really big, and it scared him. He said it was like looking at the devil. And then it just turned and went down the mountain, because on the other side of the road was a drop off of the mountain, and it just went down the mountain. So we were all scared, and because he would not calm down. I mean, and we were feeding off his energy, and it seemed realistic at the time. And we were all scared, and none of us wanted to stay there anymore. So I remember taking the shovel out of my backpack, because one of us had shovels, from the army backpack, and I was having that and had the backpack, and we walked back to the truck, and we drove back off the mountain, and then we all went back into the barracks. And the guy didn't want to sleep by himself, so he put his sleeping bag on the floor, and he slept there in the floor with us in the barrack, because he lived in different room. I think two or three of us were from the same room, and so we all stayed there. And then, so I remember the next morning we got up pretty early, like 6:30, and went to McDonald's. And this is 1987, 89, 88, somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly. So um, we went back up Go Camp Road to the area where we parked. And I said, well, let's see if we can find some evidence or something to see, what this was, or was it a bear? Was it a Bigfoot? He swore it was, that it's not a bear. That it was like a man, but just huge. I don't know. We never saw it. Just the one individual that ran, that was crying and blubbering and stuff like that. He was really had a lot of trauma. That's what it felt like. So we went back up there the next morning, looking for footprints, something, you know. And at the time there was no, cell phones or anything like that, and we had a little roll up film, those little ones you ro- wind, and it takes a picture, and then you take another one. So, and I found this depression in the snow, that it sort of looked like a foot. It was, and I put my boot in it, and then took a picture of it. Uh, and it was, man, about that much bigger, longer than my boot. This supposedly footprint, and and just by then we we were back, and a forest ranger, was driving by, and he was just, hey, and we, I don't know if we flagged him down, or or we stopped him. I don't remember, but we asked, he asked what we're doing, and so we told him the story. He kind of laughed at it, or kind of smirked. I don't remember, but he didn't seem to think much of it, and he told us, well, it's probably a bear. There's bears out here, so, and they do walk on their hind legs and stuff. So, okay. So time goes on. I got out of the army, and I went back to Texas. And there used to be a show called Unsolved Mysteries, and it was talking about Bigfoot in Colorado, in the area that that we had this experience. And I remember in that show that the sheriff came out and said that Bigfoot was running on the long side of the road, and he was driving right next to it, and that it just jumped the fence. And then some people were saying it was in their backyards, going through trash and stuff like that. But it was all in the Manitou Springs, Colorado Springs area. And I said, well, maybe there was something to this. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll check you out next time.